Welcome to Veteran Resource Podcast, where you will meet nonprofit organizations focused on improving the lives of veterans and their family members. Here is your host, Jeremy Paris.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 34 of the Veteran Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Paris, and today's guest is Christopher Enders from Operation Second Chance. I've been having a lot of fun this week in the VAP community. We're getting so much interaction. It's really cool. If you haven't checked that out yet, you can go to facebook.com/veteran artist program, and you're going to see a tab there for VAP community. Just click that, follow the instructions, and we'll give you information to get in there. In September 2004, Cindy McGrew began a mission of hope when her friend Montgomery County, Maryland police officer Sergeant Mike Russo went to Iraq as an international police advisor in June of 2004. Cindy was prompted to do a web search of the unit that she was attached to. After finding the Stryker News website, Cindy began reading the site daily for updates to ongoing situations and heard about 3 soldiers that were injured and en route to Walter Reed Medical Center. Immediately, Cindy sent emails to the families letting them know that she lived very close to Walter Reed and offered her support and assistance as a contact in the area in the event they needed anything else. She went to Walter Reed and introduced herself to the 3 families, and from there developed lifelong bonds and friendships. There's so much more to the story, and I don't want to give it all away now, so we're going to jump right into the interview with Christopher and let him tell you all about it. Chris, welcome to the Veteran Resource Podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing outstanding. We had a little bit of audio technical difficulties, but we worked through those.
Yep.
And we're ready to go now. So, Chris, can you start out by just giving a brief description of what Operation Second Chance is?
Well, Operation Second Chance is it's a nonprofit dedicated to helping our wounded, injured, and ill combat veterans when they return home. It was started in 2004 by Cindy McGrew. She had a friend that's a Montgomery County, Maryland police officer who was deployed as a joint task force and on a joint task force as an international police advisor. And she wanted to keep tabs on him, make sure he was all right. And she started looking at the Stryker News website online. Over the times when she was looking at it, she noticed that there was 3 soldiers that were being flown to Walter Reed at the time in D.C. She just kind of felt touched by the fact that they were coming home injured, and she wanted to do something. And it kind of started as a mission of kindness. She reached out to their families, said, I see that you're across the country. I'm local to D.C. I would love to offer my help to do whatever I can, to help you guys out while you're across the country, help your sons, daughters, whatever family members they were. I can't remember. So she reached out to them. They took her up on the offer. She went to Walter Reed, and at the time it was easier for her to get onto the campus. And she just started out by bringing them McDonald's, anything small to help kind of ease their recovery while they were in the hospital. And a lifelong kind of relationship developed where these soldiers started talking to other soldiers that were in the hospital rooms, and everyone had heard about this sweet older lady that would come in and bring snacks and food and games, like the PSPs and DVDs, something to help everyone relax. So she, got more requests from more families to start visiting other soldiers and Marines. And soon, the word spread all around the hospital. She reached out to some of her friends for some more help. So these 4 ladies now, they kept going by every day after work, visiting these soldiers, and eventually the word got out of the hospital to a small organization called Ride Allegheny. And these guys, they do a bicycle ride from Pennsylvania to Maryland. It's a 4-day ride, 310 miles. They reached out to her and they said, we would love to do a fundraiser for you, but you would need to start a nonprofit. So that got her little light bulb going, and the nonprofit began.
Wow.
So that was almost 11 years ago now. And, fast forward 10 years, we've provided almost $3 million in emergency financial assistance and morale boosting activities. We've helped families from all across the United States with anything they need to facilitate a speedy recovery, both physically and mentally.
Wow. And we're going to get into a lot more on that. That's a great story to start off with. But first, I wanted to kind of dig in a little bit on your background. I find that the listeners really like when they find out who it is they're talking to.
Sure.
So how about a little brief background on you?
Well, I come from a long military family. My father was in the Marine Corps, uncle's Marine, some Navy, Air Force, Army, you name it. I've had family in there. And when I was in college, there was a brief time when, I thought that's what I wanted to do. And after I signed up for OCS, just some things happened and it just didn't seem that it was the right choice for me. I'm not the military type. I didn't want to disgrace our military by even trying. I focused on my college. I got a degree in communication with a focus in marketing, and I bounced around from a couple jobs here and there, and nothing really seemed to make me feel fulfilled. Very recently, I was laid off from a job that I had been for 2 years. And I told myself that I wasn't just going to jump to the next job. I was going to really take my time and try and find something that really made me feel fulfilled every day going to work, knowing that I was doing something to change someone's life, to make someone, happier. Now, my brother-in-law, he's Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps. And after about 3 weeks of me still looking for a job, he calls me up and he just tells me, your severance check's going to run out soon, dude. You better find something. And I said, I just can't grasp anything that, that really makes me feel fulfilled. And he said, well, look, I run the Marine Corps Marathon every year for this nonprofit. It's called Operation Second Chance. You should look for them. They might have a job opening. I don't know. They're really small, but they might have something. And I look, and for about a week there was nothing. And then literally 1 week after that conversation, a posting just popped up on indeed.com for a marketing manager position. And I just jumped at it. And here I am, and I've been here 2 months now. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in the amount of time that I've been here, I've seen more and done more than I can ever have imagined. Seeing these men and women every day come into the office, it pulls at your heartstrings. You take the phone calls every day, someone looking for financial assistance. So, I finally found my calling. I found that fulfillment I was looking for, and I'm happy to be here to help these men and women who've given so much for us every day.
I bet you there's a few listeners out there that are like, wait a second. He wanted to get a job at this organization and he waited for 1 week before finding a job.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, it was like the stars aligned. It was just, I heard about it, and then as if the stars aligned, it popped up on my newsfeed saying, hey, apply here. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's going to have to happen.
That's outstanding. Mm-hmm. Going back to Cindy's story, you were saying that at the beginning, before she was told that she had to create a nonprofit in order to get that other funding, she was funding it all completely on her own, her and the other three ladies?
Correct. Yeah, it was all out of pocket. She had a full-time job at the very, very beginning, and just some things didn't work out with that job, and she ended up stepping down and kind of just going at it from her savings and out of her pocket.
Wow.
Her story it's amazing because it's proof that there's just those people out there that will just do anything, for the pure kindness. Right. They don't want anything in return. She's proof. She is proof that there are kind people out there.
That's great. So then she was told, hey, if you start this nonprofit, we can give you more funding. And that kind of was the kick she needed to make it official.
Yep. So, like I said, Ride Allegheny, it was just a group of 6 guys that, every year since September 11th, they had done a 4-day ride, and they, didn't do it for proceeds. Really, they just did it to do it. And when they heard about her story and what she had been doing, they were like, we can turn this into a fundraiser. We can get people to sponsor us, and we can put all the proceeds directly to a nonprofit that can put this money back to helping our veterans. And that's just how it was born. That's great.
And it looks like, I was going through your website here, it looks like you've got a lot more sponsors these days than just the one.
Yeah, that is correct. We have a lot of different corporate sponsors, General Dynamics, TD Foundation, Matin, Comcast Sportsnet is a partner of ours. So it's grown a lot, and it's great because it's grown very organically. Just word of mouth and what she's done. She's touched so many lives that the words got out like that.
And that kind of is a great segue into what I wanted to ask next, was getting into more of the programs. With the organization growing like it has, it looks like you were able to expand out, and instead of just doing 1 or 2 things, you've got a whole list here of different programs that you have.
Correct. Yeah. One of the biggest things that we do for our veterans are like retreats, camping, fishing, hunting. Some of them have sustained some injuries that prevent them from being able to go out, maybe hunting into the woods. So we work with No Person Left Behind. And what we do is we'll have people host these retreats all across the United States, allowing the veterans to go out, in a small group, if you will, whether it be hunting or fishing or camping. And this lets the veterans, get out of the house. Some of them, are kind of tied up in the house because of their injuries, and this lets them get back out and do things that they like. So that's one of our biggest programs that we offer. We also do, we partner with paddleboarding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we take them paddleboarding. Sorry, we have so much, and me being so new, I apologize.
No worries.
But yeah, the retreats and the morale boosting activities are really the biggest part of what we do.
And I see that you have retreats in Maryland, Montana, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, Virginia, Colorado, and Alaska, which is pretty cool.
Yep, correct. I was going to say I wasn't sure if Alaska was on there yet, but yeah, Alaska is one of the newest ones.
Are you guys looking to expand from there and go into even more?
We are. We're working really hard to get some other locations on board. Basically, we need some people out in those areas to host these events and help us out with organizing all the events that might go on in that area.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I bet the hunting in Alaska is pretty good. I spent 3 years out there. That was great time. Great time.
Oh, really? Yeah. We recently did, now see, just kind of a segue for myself, for these hunting expeditions, some of the veterans that are amputees, like I said, they can't make it out deep into the woods to do what they love and hunt. Recently, we collected donations and we were able to get a $15,000 from a donor to buy a track chair for a veteran. And we, deliver that track chair, and it has towing capability. So basically it's like a little mini tank wheelchair. So now this veteran can go out into the woods, roll over everything, hunt, and then bring back, his deer, by towing it behind the wheelchair. So, we've done, I think, 2 of those in the past. So, these are things that we really work towards donations. We want to be able to get these men and women back out and keep them happy. So we hope to put that money towards things that they need. That's
incredible. And how long do the retreats normally last?
Some are just a weekend, some are a week long.
Okay.
Now, not all of them are for just the veterans. We do caregiver and spouse retreats. We do family nights out, bowling. Just last week, we took a bunch of families, from veterans and their families, to medieval times, which is like a dinner theater, jousting, sword fighting kind of medieval themed restaurant.
Nice.
So there's like 77 in attendance. So we were able to take them out. And, all of the veterans came from the hospital. We got a shuttle bus and we took them from the hospital so they could get a night out away from the hospital, white walls. And their families met them up here, and they had a great time. We got to see the joy in their kids' faces as their kids got to see something other than a hospital and daddy or mommy in the hospital. So it was great.
That's good. That's good. And you also have you've got counseling up here for programs.
Correct. Yeah, we do have a kind of on-site counselor. So whether she work with the veterans or the caregivers or family members, she really helps to help people get through this difficult time when, someone's first coming home with an injury, or maybe they've been home and it's tough adjusting. Things like, PTSD, it's a hidden wound. You can't see it, but the side effects are still there. And some families have trouble adjusting to this new personality that the veteran brings home with them. So the counselors are there to be talked to and to go through, ways to get past this.
Gotcha. And the internships, can you tell me a little bit about what you have going on there?
We have, right now we have 2 local interns part-time. They handle putting together care packages for our veterans and troops. They handle putting together thank you letters to any donors. And they work with us like I said, Tuesday, Thursday. It's a part-time gig. But they just come in and they really help get the word out to new possible fundraising events, and then also to say thank you and put out post-fundraising newsletters and thank yous and whatnot.
Gotcha. Is there still opportunities for other people if they wanted to be an intern?
Yeah, we're always looking for people to call up to see if they can be an intern. Right now we are staffed, but it of course could just, it rolls. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
having a list of viable interns is always a thing that we want to have.
And this all started out with hospital visits. Are you still doing that as well?
Yep. Cindy does go to the hospital. And to be honest, that's partly why I got hired, because Cindy wanted to make sure she had someone to be in the office at all times to be handling a lot of the back end stuff so she could continue to go to the hospital and visit these troops. There was a small brief time when she found herself overwhelmed with the back end work, and she wanted to really get back to the grassroots effort, get out there and visit these men and women who, come home and need a smiling, happy face. So like, in fact, tomorrow she's actually going out there. She's going to meet with them. So it's her mission basically is to be out there greeting everyone that comes home.
Great. That's outstanding. And do you have any other programs that I might have skipped over here?
Besides the spa days and family events, the caregiver events, that pretty much, I think that hits it nail on the head with the hammer on that one.
Great. And I see that you've got a little bit of media play going here too.
Yeah, so we have two really powerful PSAs, and I encourage the listeners to go to our website and click on media and watch the PSAs. They're very powerful. You get to meet some of the first veterans that Cindy met, and hear their stories and see what they go through, and it really, really drills the message home about what's really going on behind the scenes. Like when these veterans come home, they're coming home, they're different, they're struggling in a way, like they're trying to adjust, and this video really portrays that. These aren't actors. These are guys that have suffered traumatic losses, whether it be amputations or traumatic brain injury or PTSD. And it really tells a sad story. It's harder for me to even watch it to this day. Like, I've seen it probably 100 times since I've been here in 2 months. And it still tugs at my heartstrings because, I see these guys, a couple times a week, and their bravery and the way they still carry on. It's amazing that you hear their stories, you see what they go through, and yet they still push forward. And it's true testament to their willpower.
Yeah, I would love to get that out there. In fact, Chris, what I'm going to do is in the show notes, I'm going to make sure that I put a link to not only Operation Second Chance's website, but I'm going to also link directly to the video gallery so that people have the opportunity to go there and watch those.
That would be wonderful.
All right, Chris, is there anything else before we jump into the final 3 questions?
Well, we are working on some new tactics to basically get the word out of who we are. We're working on some new marketing campaigns. Like I said, for the most part, this has always been a very grassroots effort. Cindy's always just gone to the hospital, met with possible donors face to face. With me coming on board, we're definitely taking a new approach on the social media aspect. We really want to grow awareness for what these veterans are going through because, one thing that it's been said a lot, no one's really talking about it though, is that 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. I'm sure most of your listeners have heard that statistic, but you don't see a lot of media coverage or public figures speaking about it. So we're recently starting an effort, and I would love for you to share this link in the web notes as well, because what we're doing is we're doing a sort of 3-part ice bucket challenge, if you will. Basically, what it's going to be is right now available on our Facebook page is a link to put an overlay over top of your Facebook profile. It's just an American flag with hashtag red, white, blue 22 on it. Basically, that's going to kind of light up Facebook is what we're hoping to let the veterans know that, when you were in the military, you were part of a team, and you might not feel like you're part of a team now that you're out, but look at all these people that are lighting up their Facebook profiles for you. Like, you have a team out there. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to think you're going through this by yourself. So, look at all these people out there. So once that generates some buzz, which it already is, on December 1st, we're launching the Ice Bucket Challenge part of it, which is it's going to be a football toss challenge. We're going to really build that team for our veterans. So it's called, again, the Red, White, Blue 22 Challenge. The red, white, blue 22 is the play count. If you're hiking the ball, red, white, blue 22. And the goal is to try and throw the ball 22 yards for the 22 veterans that we lose a day. it's also going to be, by you doing that, you're symbolically saying that you want to be part of their team. A lot of veterans, we're not asking anyone to understand what military life is like. Obviously, a civilian could never grasp what military life is like, what these men and women go through. We just want to put the word out there that there's so many people out there who support and want to know what it's like. They want to hear your story. They want to talk to you. They want you to know that you're not alone. So this is going to end up being this large scale football team of everyone passing this ball back and forth, symbolically passing, their patriotism back and forth, saying, here you go. This is, my way of saying that I'm behind you. We've already got some larger groups behind us. We do have Comcast Sportnet saying they're behind us and they're going to share this all the way up to the NFL. So we got some good things going. It's going to be hitting the scenes in about 3 weeks. This is the biggest thing we've done so far. And like I said, it's always been a very grassroots approach. So this is the first time we're trying a full 100% social media approach to generate new followers and new participants in anything we do.
Outstanding. I will definitely put that link on the show notes as well. Make it nice and easy for people to get over there.
Perfect.
All right, Chris, I think we're ready to jump into the final three.
All right.
All right. Question number 1. Who would you like to hear on a future episode of the Veteran Resource Podcast?
Well, another local organization that we work with a lot, referring veterans who do need this kind of service, it's called Hero Dogs. Hero Dogs raises and trains service dogs and places them free of charge to our veterans to help improve the quality of life and restore their independence. We've referred some veterans to them. I've seen them at many events bringing their dogs, and these dogs are amazingly trained. If a veteran was to drop his keys, this dog could pick up something as small as a key and bring it back to him. They open doors, they shut lights off, they put groceries away and put laundry away. These are the most well-trained dogs you can ever see, but they also learn to sense like PTSD and anxiety. So it helps the veterans cope. Now, they're a local organization as well, and they're doing their best to get as many dogs out to our veterans to help them. So I would love to hear them come on and talk a little bit more about what they do.
Excellent. Yes, I will definitely reach out to them. That sounds like a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question number 2. What upcoming project has you fired up right now? And I think I know that.
Yep. Our hashtag Red, White, Blue 22 challenge. With all the support that is generated, I don't want to say any names, but there are some veterans that are getting involved that have been on that line of wanting to end it all. And they think this is a great idea and they want everyone to support it. Again, along with our supporters at Comcast and up in the NFL, we're hoping this will go as big as the Ice Bucket Challenge. We want everyone to, scream and shout that they're patriotic and they want to stop the 22 veterans committing suicide a day. They want to put an end to it and do their part to show that they're a part of this giant team for them.
That's great. Okay, and the final question, this is the brain stretcher. If you woke up tomorrow and you found out that somebody made an anonymous donation of $10 million to your organization, what would you do with it?
So one of the programs that we would love to start, and it's because we get a lot of phone calls every day from veterans who were recently evicted from their household, or they're facing eviction. While we can help them by paying some bills and keeping their lights on and keeping them in their house temporarily, if they already call us and they're evicted or they're living in their car, there's not much we can do. So we would love to be able to start a transitional housing branch of our division, basically. So, buy a large piece of land and build a multi-tenant house on it. And, if a veteran calls us up and they've already been, evicted from their home, or if they have children, they're living on the streets with their children, we could get them into this temporary house while we do work to find them that permanent house. A lot, like I said, a lot of what we do is this financial relief. So we can provide them if they're in need of the help, prior to the evictions, but we would like to be able to help them afterwards as well. That would be first and foremost, get that house up and built and staffed, with some people to take care of anyone that needs it. Once that is up and running, we would like to use some of that other money to expand our staff on on all of our programs, whether it be, the NPLB, No Person Left Behind hunting and expeditions, or anything else. And then we want to use that to cater to more and more veterans. And the rest of the money would go to helping them get to where they need to get to whether it be, retreats or any kind of outing, or if they need that financial assistance. One of the things that I didn't mention that this slipped my mind entirely. A lot of the money we do use is to fly families out to see their husbands or wives or brothers or sisters or sons or daughters like in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
We'll use the money for, I don't know why I forgot this. That's one of the biggest things we do. Sorry. We use a lot of money. Last year alone, we spent like $45,000 in emergency flights to get the families to their loved ones so that they could be with them during the recovery process. So we'd like to be able to expand that as well with the 10 million, get more families closer to their returning loved ones. Put them up in hotels for longer periods of time so they're not, having to fly back and forth to home or drive back and forth to home, get them close to a hotel near Walter Reed, that kind of stuff.
Great. So for the person out there that has $10 million and they're looking for an awesome place to put it, you just heard what Chris said that he could do with the money with Operation Second Chance. And so for that person with the $10 million or for anybody else that wants to donate and get plugged into your organization, what's the best method?
The best method is just to go to operationsecondchance.org and click the Donate Now button at the top right-hand side. And it'll give you the options on how to donate. If you work for the federal government, we are part of the CFC, and our campaign number can be found on there. But if you just want to donate as just a regular donor, there is a link on there just to click, and it'll tell you how to donate. It'll even give you options on, why are you donating? Are you donating in memory of a soldier? Are you donating in honor of a soldier? Or are you just donating because? And that lets us know, where the money came from, why it came from, where it came from. But again, the best part about it is that with Operation Second Chance, that when you donate, your money is going directly to where we say it's going. We give about 89% back to our veterans. So, nice. A lot of this, and I talk about the social media campaign and the NFL and stuff, but I want to also emphasize it's all been pro bono. None of this campaign has had any money spent on it. We want to make sure the money goes to where it goes to. So, most nights I spend, hours in the office doing this campaign, my free time trying to make sure it stays free.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Chris, and telling us all about Operation Second Chance. Very, very enlightening. I love finding out about new organizations or organizations that I didn't know about before. And more I'm finding them out there. We're out there. Yeah, you guys are out there. But yeah, I keep finding organizations that have been around for a while, and I'm just now finding out about them. And that's kind of why I do what I do.
Yeah, and we're so glad that we got the chance to talk to you today. Cindy was very, very excited when she heard about your program, what you've been doing. So, we're happy to be a part of it and get our message out to the troops and the veterans so they know, where they can turn if they're ever in need.
Excellent. This was a lot of fun, and I really, really appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being on the show with you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Veteran Resource Podcast. If you haven't yet, please go to veteranpodcast.com/iTunes, and you can see all of the reviews that are up there, and you can also leave one, which is going to go a great way to helping other people to find this podcast. And if you want to find out more about Christopher Enders or Operation Second Chance, I urge you to go to veteranpodcast.com/034, where you'll see all of the show notes and links to get you to the website and get you plugged in with that great organization. All right, that's all I got for you this week. We will see you next week in episode 35.